again. Yeah, so multivariable calculus, am I right? So now look at here, let me start with this one, x, y, x here, y here. Now let me take one, so triangle, so with 2 here, 2 here. You know how to find area of the triangle, okay? How to find area of the triangle. So first let me find area, okay? So now look at here. So if you have a square, then what will you do? Suppose, let me start with a square, x here, y here. Let me start with a square, 2 here, 2 here. I mean, not ordinary method. Now we have to go through calculus method to find the area, okay? Don't ask why, because, so again, now we have to first define the integral. Now functionality will come inside the integral. Now we don't have to take functionality. We can take dx, dy. You have to integrate, am I right? Elementary area. So there is dx into dy. You have to integrate, am I right? Then you will get total area. That's what, I mean, I'm just doing this one. Integral of dx, dy to find the area. But in our, what you call, application, we will get some more scalar here along with this dx, dy, am I right? We need to integrate that one along with that one. So that's why first we shall see how to run the limits for just finding the area, okay? Because we know what is the answer of the area, am I right? What is the area, okay? Now look at here. So how do you find the area here? Actually, how does that double integral works, am I right? So double integral of dx, dy, am I right? Now you can write x running from 0 to 2, y running from 0 to 2, am I right? That's done, isn't it? So now what you are doing here? So 0 to 2, look at here, let me write in bracket 0 to 2 dx. When I have this integral 0 to 2 dx, what you get actually? Any idea? You will get a length along x-axis from 0 to 2. Can I say like that? dx, dx, dx. I mean, so integration is a generalization of summation, am I right? So that's why. So if you are integrating dx from 0 to 2, what you are doing? You are just, what you call, finding the length along that one, am I right? So when I integrate this one, that means I'm just finding this length. I'm just finding this length. This part, in this part, I'm just finding this length. So 0 to 2, obviously that is 2. Am I right? So after this one, look at here. So this one multiplied with the dy, isn't it? This length multiplied with the dy, and you are integrating that one from 0 to 2. That means you are adding this one like this. Are you getting my point? You are adding these lengths like this. In the second part of the integral, you are adding these lengths like this along y-axis, so that you will get total area. So that's how it works actually. Is that okay? So now, so when you do first integral, you are just finding one line. Okay, that integral becomes one line. Line means length actually. Okay, exactly. Now in the second part of the integral, that will be swept in the other axis, in the direction of other axis. So that entire thing becomes your, or you can, I mean, if suppose this is constant, you can take it outside, am I right? And then you can do other part. That's also okay. That's again length into breadth. That would be length into breadth, isn't it? So now look at here. We shall try to apply the same thing here. Same logic. How? First we have to find one length, then we have to run that length, so throughout the area. So for that, look at here, we need equation of this line. What is the equation of that line? Y-intercept is 2. Slope equal to minus 1. So that's why y is equal to m into x plus c. Y equal to slope equal to minus 1. Minus x, what is the y-intercept? 2. Y is equal to 2 minus x. Or take this coordinate 2 comma 0, 0 comma 2. You know how to find the equation of the straight line when you have two endpoints, isn't it? How? x2 minus x1 is equal to something like that, isn't it? X minus x1 is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, like that. Okay, just to follow those kind of formula. Whatever I feel comfortable with, y equal to mx plus c. C is y-intercept. Is that okay? So now this equation of this line is equal to y is equal to 2 minus x. Isn't it? Y equal to 2 minus x. So now look at here. I have to find this kind of line here. Okay, I have to find this kind of line here. But what I do here is, if I find here, you will get 2. Am I right? But again, that is variable here, isn't it? Now it's not just like that line is added to get the area here. Now here again, lines are added to get area, but that line is shrinking. Am I right? You have to shrink that one. You have to get here one line, other line. So you have to shrink the length of that one. So that's why what we do here is, we are going to take length of one arbitrary line. Then we will run that line from this point to this point along y-axis with a variable length, so that we can sweep the area. So I'm just giving the geometrical interpretation. Okay, look at here. So I'm just taking, wait a second, what did I said? I'm just taking arbitrary, why I'm taking, so here you can take it anywhere. Look at here. Actually, 0 to 2 dx, that can be anywhere. Not only on x-axis, remember, that can be anywhere. When you sweep that one, so I mean along y-axis, that you will get total area. Is that okay? So now, so here also I'm going to take this line, okay, this line, integral over this line. That means x is running from, what is x value? 0. What is x value here? Let me take, this is y. Arbitrary y. And y will run from 0 to 2. Okay, let me take that arbitrary y. So now, if this is y, what is this one? So 2 minus y, x equal to 2 minus y, according to this equation. Am I right? X equal to 2 minus y. If this is y, x equal to 2 minus y. I am going to find this length of the straight line at y, and then I am going to sweep along y-axis. Is that okay? Now what is that length? You can say that's 2 minus y. Am I right? So 2 minus y, look at here, 2 minus y. So now when you just integrate this one with respect to dy from 0 to 2, you will get the answer. You will get the area. Are you getting my point? 2 minus y is the length of this one. Now look at here. When y equal to 0, this quantity is 2 here. Am I right? When you put y equal to 0, this line becomes this line. When you put y equal to 2, this line becomes 0. I mean, length of that line becomes 0. You got the area here, remember. But how we do this one is, again, we have a double integral. Am I right? Double integral of dx dy. Dx dy is our elementary area. Am I right? So now, while doing that dx, what we do here is, again, we are just finding the length of this one. That's why we are running x integral from 0 to 2 minus y. So that I am finding this length arbitrarily. Is that okay? 0 to 2 minus y. You can do ulta also, vertically. Okay, by taking one vertical line. You can do like that also. Once you integrate this one, 0 to 2 minus y, what would you get? Any idea? Again, then you can integrate. Again, this line will be integrated, y running from 0 to 2. Okay, but this line, x running from 0 to 2 minus y, that is an arbitrary line segment here. And so next case, you have to sweep that one, so that 0 to 2, y runs from 0 to 2, so that you will get entire area. Is that okay? So now look at here, 0 to 2 minus y dx. What is this one? 2 minus y, am I right? So dx integral answer is x running from 0 to 2 minus y. Am I right? 0 to 2 dy. What is this one? So 2 minus y, 0 to 2, 2 minus y dy. Am I right? So find this one answer. So 2 into, I think, dy 2 minus y square by 2, y square 4, 0? No. Yeah. 2 into y running from 0 to 2 minus y square by 2, y square by 2 running from 0 to 2. What is the answer? 2. That's correct. Half length into height. Am I right? That's the area of that one. Isn't it? So again, you know how to find area of this one. That was not our target. Am I right? We will get a functionality here. We will get some function of x here. Isn't it? So when we integrate some scalar function, we will get some function x. Then we have to follow the same method. Is that okay? Now if it is a, what you call, prism, then can I extend this one along z axis? That will become prism. Am I right? I have a triangle here. So just extend this one along z axis, you will get a prism. So that was our problem. So let me solve it again. Wait a second. One volume integral problem. So any question here? If you need a volume of a cube, then what will you do? First you will do dx dy, then you are going to sweep that one along z axis, isn't it? Adding those areas, that becomes volume. So adding these lines, so lengths of those lines, that becomes, so your area, sweeping those lines, you got to say like that, isn't it? Now here also you have to sweep line, but that line segment have got variable length. So that's how you can do here, isn't it? Now look at here, here itself you can see this is the main part actually, 2 minus y dy, am I right? 2 minus y is the length of this line. When you run y from 0 to 2, when y equal to 0, that length equal to 2, am I right? So when y equal to 0, length equal to 2, again you are adding all of these. When y equal to 2, length equal to 0. You are adding all of those length, that becomes area. Is that okay? So now again, so let me try to share some animations on this one. Yeah. So now let me take that problem. This is example number 1.8. Have you tried? Example number 1.8. Example number 1.8. We have some scalar t is equal to x y z square. T equal to x y z square over the prism in the figure shown. He has drawn one prism here, x cap, y cap, z cap. Is that okay? Over so here he has written 1, 1 and 3, okay? 1 here, 3 here. Now you have to integrate this scalar function. Look at here. If you integrate x from 0 to 1, y from 0 to 1, z from 0 to 3, that becomes not prism. That will become what we call. So cubic. So that will become like this. So what we call structure? Cuboid. That will become cuboid, remember. Is that okay? If you run x from 0 to 1, y from 0 to 1, z from 0 to 3, that will become cuboid. I mean, you are sweeping throughout cuboid. Now look at it, you can ask one question. Why can't I find the total integral for cuboid and then I divide by 2? That will not work. Why? Because this function will take different values in different regions, remember, and you are adding that one. Is that okay? Integral of, so t into dx dy dz. This t will take different value in different regions, remember. In case of volume, you can do like that, just finding the volume, integral of dx dy dz. You can do that one. You can find total volume and you can divide by 2. Isn't it? But here you can't do because this will make a difference. Is that okay? That will take different value. So that's why, but again we can follow the method of finding the volume. How we can find the volume? First we have to find the area of the base, am I right? Then you can sweep the triangle along z axis, you will get the total volume. Isn't it? Now how do you find area of this one? Again our earlier trick. Is that okay? How do you find area of this one? So can I take x here, y here? Yeah. Or let me just do it here. Is that okay? So now let me take one line, so perpendicular to y axis. Is that okay? So what is this line equation? Any idea? Y equal to 1 minus x. Y intercept y is equal to mx plus c. C equal to 1. Slope equal to minus 1. Can you just imagine? This is a plane, xy plane, isn't it? If you draw it like this, that will become like this. Y here, X here, 1 here, 1 here, isn't it? Slope equal to minus 1. That's why this is y is equal to 1 minus x. Now let me find the length of this one. Okay, while finding that length, how should I integrate? I should integrate dx, isn't it? I have to integrate x is running from 0 to, if this is y, what is this one? What is this one? 1 minus y. If this is y, corresponding, so if this coordinate, I mean, you can write this coordinate as 1 minus y comma y, am I right? X comma y, x equal to 1 minus y. You can write like that, isn't it? So that's why I'm finding this length. That's why I have to integrate x from 0 to 1 minus y, isn't it? Then you will get this length. Then you have to integrate that one with respect to y from 0 to 1, so that you can sweep that toward that triangle, isn't it? 0 to 1. Then you can integrate that one from 0 to 3 with respect to dz, so that you can add those triangles one after other, so that you will get the volume, total volume. So this is how we can find the volume, am I right? Now this scalar is going to play the role here, that's it. This scalar function. How do you write that one? Again, so triple integral x, y, z square dx, dy, dz over this region, okay, over this region. So then how do I write? I'm going to, so I can write this one like this actually, x dx, okay. So let me think of a limit later. So then a y variable dy, okay, y variable dy, y integral, okay, y integral. So then, look at here. So z variable is z square dz integral. Write like that, isn't it? You can always, again you can do in any order, okay? You can do in any order. Is that okay? So as I told, you can take this line, you can first integrate y, you can find this line and you can just sweep that one through the triangle, and then you can do z1, or you can start with z1 also, okay. So now this x integral, again it has got variable x. Now what is the limit? Limit becomes same as finding the volume, 0 to 1 minus y. Is that okay? 0 to 1 minus y. Y integral 0 to 1, z integral 0 to 3. Now you have a variable inside. Along with dx, dy, dz, you have a variable inside. So that will make a difference. Okay, can you just do this one quickly? Now look at here, when you just integrate this one, this will become function of y. Why? It should become function of y, because you are finding one arbitrary length. So in between this region, you are finding arbitrary length, remember. Is that okay? At some y point. At some y point, then you are running y from 0 to 1. Okay. So now, look at here. Yeah, so think over it again, okay. Just draw the diagram and think over it. So x will run from, so let me write 0 to 3 z square, 0 to 1 y, what is this one? X square by 2. Can I write 1 minus y the whole square by 2 directly? Do it in your way, isn't it? X square by 2 running from 1 minus y, 0 to 1 minus y, 1 minus y the whole square by 2. I am writing directly. Do it in one more step. Don't look at the board. Isn't it? Or let me share some more. I think Sham series books are the best one to practice in a less time. Over. With answer? Answer. Should I do this one? I can write z square dz, because when you find this one, you will get a constant. It will come outside. Okay. Integral 0 to 1. I think how to write this one? Y into y square plus 1 minus 2y dy z cube by 3, that is 9 by 3. Am I right? No, 27 by 3. Z cube by 3. Z cube by 3 running from 0 to 3. Y cube, y to y square. I think 1 by 4, y raised to 4 by 4. Am I right? 0 to 1. Plus 1 by 2 minus 2, 1 by 3. What is this one? Quickly. So 3 cube is 27. Am I right? So 27 by 3 multiplied with 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2 minus 2 by 3. 1 by 12. What is that one totally? 3 4 the 3 9 the 3 1 the 3 3 the 3 by 4. 1 by, where I left 1 by 2? Where is 1 by 2? Oh, this 1 by 2. This 1 by 2. Correct. 3 by 8. Now, the similar problem is there here, but here it is finding the area. I mean, area with along with some functionality. Okay, we shall do that problem also. I think that is problem number, so 1.34. 1.34. 34th problem in the first chapter. Okay. So practice this one. So 2 here, 2 here. He asked to verify Stokes theorem. Am I right? Isn't it? He asked to verify Stokes theorem, but let me do only that area integral. Okay. So now our vector field here is V is equal to xy into x cap plus 2yz into y cap plus 3zx into z cap. Okay. Now he said verify Stokes theorem by giving this loop integral, isn't it? To verify Stokes theorem, what we do? We first do this line integral, this closed line integral. Then we will take any surface enclosed by this closed loop. Am I right? So plane is the simplest surface enclosed by the closed loop. And we are going to take the plane and we are going to take surface integral. Am I right? So what is that one? Closed path integral of V bar dot dl bar. So that's equal to surface integral of curl of vector field dot dA vector. Isn't it? Now this can be any surface whose boundary is this path. Am I right? Now I am doing this path integral. I can take any surface. What is the simplest surface? This plane itself. Why we have that freedom? Because this surface integral is independent of the surface chosen. It depends only on the boundary line. Isn't it? So plane itself is the simplest one, and we are going to take that one and we are going to show those two are equal. Isn't it? Now let me do this part. In that part again you will get this kind of integral. Okay, let me do this part. So now I have already shown the path integral direction, isn't it? It is in this direction. That's why your area vector should be along this direction. What is this one? X cap, y cap, z cap. Your area vector should be along x cap. Am I right? What is your area vector? What is the elementary area? It is a yz plane. Am I right? dy dz. dy dz. It is along x cap. Why along x cap? Because I have it like this. Okay. So if your fingers runs along the path integral, your thumb will represent the direction of the area vector. Isn't dA vector in this one? Isn't it? So now I have to take again I have to take curl Can you just find quickly? Find the curl. XY, 2YZ, 3ZX. So be a little fast in writing the step. Don't skip any step, okay? X cap into 0 minus 2y minus y cap into 3z minus 0 plus z cap into 0 minus x. Check it out. Minus 2y into x cap minus 3z into y cap minus x into z cap. But I'm taking del cross v dot dA. Am I right? Look at here. What happened? Okay, no. Plus z cap 0 minus. Be careful, be careful. Write down all steps. Write down all steps. Now remember, in exam hall, usually to study that one we need mathematics, this level of mathematics. I mean, we need to do lengthy steps like that. But in exam hall, you will have very less question with a very long mathematical step. Or you should not choose those kind of questions. You have to avoid them if it has very lengthy mathematical step. Then again, so time doesn't matter. Is that okay? If you want to attend those kind of questions, there will be less number of questions. That's why you better write each and every step. Don't skip that one. Okay. Now, once you try to skip that one, definitely mistake will happen. Okay. Now, look at here. So, dot dA. dA vector is along x cap. X cap. What is that one? Minus 2y into dy dz. Am I right? Can I write directly? Dot product with this vector and this vector. X cap dot x cap equal to 1. X cap dot y cap equal to 0. X cap dot z cap equal to 0. So now you have to double integrate this one, minus 2y dy dz. So throughout this region of the plane. Is that okay? So now again the same technique. Shall I draw it here again? Again the same technique. So 2 here, 2 here. What is this equation? Y equal to x, 2 minus x. Check it out. Slope equal to minus 1 again. Y intercept equal to 2. So now what we have done earlier, this is, wait a second. That's z and y variable. Wait a second. Z here, y here. Z is equal to 2 minus y. Is that okay? Z axis is playing the role of our y axis earlier. Y axis is playing the role of x axis. Okay. Now, wait a second. What we have done earlier, I found this one. Am I right? I found this line first. So that was 0 here. If suppose this was z, what is this value? Y equal to 2 minus z. Am I right? This was 2 minus z. Am I right? First, integrate minus 2y dy from 0 to 2 minus z. Y integral first do from 0 to 2 minus z. That you will get this equation of the line. Then integrate along z axis from 0 to 2. You better draw that one, unless you will not get clear picture what we are doing over there. Okay, geometrical. This is x-axis, am I right? This is x-axis. Now look at here, what would happen? Minus 2, obviously outside, 0 to 2. So y square by 2, that means 2 minus z the whole square by 2 dz. Again, that variable will be there. Obviously, it should be there, isn't it? Unless this becomes variable, how you can sweep throughout the triangle, isn't it? So got cancelled. Minus 0 to 2 2 minus z the whole square. How do I write? 2 minus z the whole cube by 3 with one more minus 1. Am I right? So just check it out. 0 to 2. Is that your answer? 2 minus z the whole square. 2 minus z the whole cube whole divided by 3 and coefficient of z. Okay. Upper limit 0. Lower limit, yeah, upper limit it should be 0. Am I right? Look at here. When z equal to 2, this length is 0. That will make it 0. That's correct. 2 cube by 3. Am I right? Check it out. No, I have 2 minus z. Am I right? Yeah, upper limit minus lower limit. Yeah, you are right. One more negative. Okay, here I cancelled one more sign because of that integration. Okay, do it yourself or elaborate from this step. You again from this step, do it in your way. Okay. Yeah, he's asking what if we get a cone? If we get a cone, we better to go for cylindrical coordinate. Okay, cone, sphere, spherical coordinate, cone, cylindrical coordinate, isn't it? We have taken that kind of problem in classical mechanics. Am I right? So cone has a cylindrical symmetry that will be very easy in that particular coordinate. Okay, in Cartesian also you can do that one, but limits will be very difficult. Is that okay? Limits will be very difficult. Now, can you take any integral calculus book? So, how to find area of a circle using Cartesian coordinate? Area of a circle using Cartesian coordinate. That would be, you have to take the limit properly. I too forgot that one. Isn't it? But in plane polar coordinate, it is one step integration. Isn't it? What is this one? Integral of r square dr d theta. Yeah, r square dr d theta. That's it. No, r dr d theta. Am I right? Area element in case of plane polar coordinate. We have taken couple of days before. Area element in the plane polar coordinate. R dr d theta. Isn't it? When you integrate this one from 0 to a, theta from 0 to 2 phi, what will you get? You will get pi r square. You can check it out. So check that out. R square by 2 into 2 pi. Isn't it? So that's how it works. Whenever symmetry allows, so you have to go for that particular coordinate and you have to do that. Okay. So he has given questions on that one. Okay. He has given, I don't think he has given much question on cylindrical symmetry, but spherical symmetry he has given enough question. Okay. Later, you can just practice on it. Is that okay? But here, this can be done in Cartesian coordinate, and it is easy in Cartesian coordinate only. Is that okay? If you go for polar coordinate, that would be very difficult. Why we will go for polar coordinate here? Any idea? Because of again symmetry only. It's a kind of symmetry problem. Is that okay? Now, any sphere you have to go for spherical polar coordinate. Any cone you have to go for cylindrical coordinate. Any bowl you have to go for cylindrical coordinate. Why? When you rotate that one about z axis, it will be symmetrical. Am I right? So just remember that fact. Okay. Yeah, I think he has given spherical one on a sphere, not a cylindrical one. Now he has given a couple of integration by parts, and we better to just note down. Okay. Again, proofs are not needed. We shall note it down and we shall proceed. Del dot f into a vector. I think I have taken this one earlier. Am I right? That's one of the important ones. F del dot a. F is some scalar variable. A is some vector field. Is that okay? F del dot a plus a dot del f plus A dot del F. Is that okay? Plus A dot del F. Now, if I do, wait a second, if I do this integral, volume integral of this one, F into A vector, d tau, then what I can do, any idea? Again, I can convert that one into volume integral of F del dot A, F del dot A, d tau plus A dot del F d tau. Can I write like this? A dot del F d tau. Yeah, we are going to use this one, okay, later. That's why I'm writing. Now, this part, what you can do, you can use your Gauss theorem, right? You are doing one volume integral throughout some volume V, isn't it? You are doing this volume integral throughout some volume V. You can convert that one into closed surface integral, am I right? So, where that surface is boundary of this volume, isn't it? Surface is boundary of this volume, isn't it? So, now that will become, yeah, any idea? F into A vector dot dA, am I right? This is, vector field multiplied with a scalar, that becomes again vector field only, am I right? Each of its components are multiplied with A, that's it. Vector multiplied with, some scalar field means, again, each of its component, AX, AY, AZ, those are multiplied with that one, that's it. That's again a vector. You can take a surface integral of that vector. That's our Gauss theorem. Now look at here, that's equal to other part. Now combiningly, he has written this formula, again just rearranging this one, okay. So volume integral of F into del dot A d tau, that's equal to, he's solving for this one, okay, he's solving for this one, that's equal to minus volume integral of A dot del F d tau plus closed surface integral of F A dot dA vector. Wait a second. What is that surface again? Surface is the surface. No. Surface is the boundary of that volume or surface that encloses that volume, isn't it? That's the best right. Now, later while studying something, what we do here is, we will extend that surface to infinity and we will make that part 0. Okay, let me take that one. Again, I can't explain right now. We will take this whole formula and we are going to apply that one. While applying, what we do here is, we will take that surface, we will extend that surface to infinity. It will take care actually. So again, so that volume region contains charges usually. Then you can extend that surface to infinity. Then what would happen? Outside that region, you will get 0. Okay. So let me take that idea, okay. I need this formula, just write down. Now I can't explain that one. Just write it down. You need this one, okay. And he has given some more. Can you have a note on this one? Problem number 1.36. Have a note on problem number 1.36. Whenever we need, we shall take that one. Yeah, again I better to, now I can go to again electrostatic chapter. Again we shall do some more. Again we will continue our vector calculus tomorrow, okay. Wait a second. Yeah, there was a problem here. Again, you can do problem number 2.9 later, okay, because you need some, if you use some coordinate geometry, you can do it very quickly, okay. So, better not to make it lengthy. Again, 2.10. So, problem number 2.10. It was a old question again. So, he has taken a cube. He has taken a cube and he placed a charge at one of the corner Q here, and he asked what is the flux through this surface. What is the flux through this surface? So initially, actually, when I saw this question first, I tried to integrate this one. Can you do that one? Too difficult to take the limits, area vector, isn't it? Now look at here, your electric field and area vector, they are not parallel, remember, and electric field strength also varies here throughout this one. Electric field strength varies, isn't it? Area vector is constant, and again, I think electric field and area vector angle also varies, remember, you can't do that one. Again, so he's not expecting that one. Then what is the idea? Before discussing this one, I'll go for my question. I think that was again old CSIR question. I have taken a cone, I placed charge Q here. What is the flux through this cone? Half of Q by epsilon naught. Am I right? Q by epsilon naught. If you take, again, how you got that idea? You extended surface. Am I right? He has given one open surface. So suppose ice cream cone. What he has given? He has given one open surface. And he asked what is the flux through that curved surface. Am I right? So now what you have done, you extended that one symmetrically. That's the best idea. Extend that one symmetrically. So that now don't you feel that this cone will share the half of the flux, this cone will share the half of the flux? And according to our Gauss law, E bar dot dA bar, that is a net flux. That is the net, so total flux. So through any closed surface, any shaped closed surface which contains charge Q, isn't it? Q enclosed, charge enclosed, isn't it? Any shape. So we have proved for actually earlier, do you remember, we proved for spherical surface because it was very easy, because our coordinate geometry allowed us to do that one. But we can just reshape our what you call a surface, am I right? We can make the shape of the surface, close the surface any shape. Only thing that does matter how many charges inside, net charges inside. Why? Again, so number of electric fields will not be generated in edge. Isn't it? That was the idea that I have taken. Why I can reshape that surface? We proved Gauss law for spherical surface. Do you remember? I can reshape that one. Why? Electric fields will not generate at air. Remember, if I do it for, spherical surface, if I reshape that one, so then also net flux will be same. Number of field lines passing through the area. So passing through the surface will be same. Is that okay? That's why, again, any shape region, you can just apply that one. You can apply Gauss law. Is that okay? Now look at here. So this, again, this total flux equal to Q by epsilon naught. So if total flux is this one, this will be pi total divided by 2. This should say total divided by 2, isn't it? Total flux. Isn't it? So that's why. So flux through this one, that will be total divided by 2. That becomes Q by 2 epsilon. Isn't it? Now, what is the idea? Basic idea is extending our surface symmetrically, or extending our surface in such a way that surface of interest is a symmetric part of total surface. I better say like that. Surface of interest is a symmetric part of total surface. Am I right? So then only you can say this will share half, this will share half. Suppose even if I give like this, Q here, if I give like this, now it exactly looks like ice cream. Isn't it? Just forget. Okay, this is a bowl, hemispherical bowl. Now also you may feel little uncomfortable, am I right? Whether this will share same flux as that of this one, but it will share same flux as that of lower one. Isn't it? Isn't it? Again, start with this one. If it shares half, this should share half. Are you getting my point? But you will not feel comfortable here. You will not get confidence to say this will share that bowl will share the same flux as that of this cone. Am I right? Because that's not symmetry. That's why you have to take it like this. Yeah, speak up. Yeah, it's not symmetric. You are not confident to say that one. But start with this one. If this is pi total by 2, this should be pi total by 2. Isn't it? But in the first extent, you can't say that one. So that's why it's very better to extend your surface so that your surface of interest is a symmetric part of the total surface. So now no. Look at here. Look at right hand side. No, you can take any shaped ice cream. Is that okay? Gauss law is true. Why? So number of field lines passing through the area is same. Am I right? Field lines are generated by this Q. They are not generated by air. That was the idea that I have taken. I can reshape the closed surface. Isn't it? You are not getting that one? We have done for, look at here. Earlier we have done Gauss law for this one. Am I right? Q was placed at the center. We have taken one closed surface. We have shown E bar dot dA bar, spherical surface. This was spherical surface is equal to Q by epsilon naught. That is a statement. Am I right? What is this one? This is the net flux through the closed surface. What is the net flux means? Number of field lines passing through. Net flux is proportional to number of field lines passing through. If I reshape this one without, making this one outside the region, okay? I'm keeping this one inside my region. I'm reshaping my spherical region. So then number of field lines should be same, am I right? Number of field lines passing through the surface should be same. It doesn't matter whether it is sphere or any other shape. Why? Field lines are generated by this one. It is ending at infinity. That's why whatever the shape, it should have passed through that one. Number of field lines passing through the surface, any shape, that is same. So that's why you can take any closed surface, you can apply Gauss law. But why I am taking symmetrically? Because you can say confidently this will share half of the total flux. Is that okay? So that's why you will feel uncomfortable when you take like this actually. Hungry? When you take it like this, you will feel little uncomfortable whether it shares half or not. So this is exactly at the top of the cone, okay? You will feel uncomfortable. But start with this one. If this will share half, this should share half. Remember. Okay, wait a second. Yeah. Now, so in this one, now I have again, so have you observed one more thing? I placed Q here. I extended my surface so that Q is at the center of my, total surface. Do you remember? So that you have to make this one at the center of some total surface. How do you do that one? By extending this one again. It's have you drawn the NaCl crystal structure? It is like that. So what shall I do? NaCl crystal structure. Yeah, let me start with this one. Let me try again. Wait a second. It takes some time. Q here, okay? So now I have to extend that one so that this surface becomes symmetric part, one thing, and this should be at the center of those symmetry. Okay? So that's why I'm going to extend this one. I'm going to make it as one more cube. Okay? So one more cube here. So then below, is that okay? Now back side, isn't it? It was 5 marks question in PU chemistry. Yeah, we studied like that, am I right? So our teacher used to come to the board and they used to start with, this is 5 marks question, take this. NaCl crystal structure. Isn't it? So now look at here. Again, you should have that geometrical thinking, okay? Again, after I think our X-ray diffraction, you may feel a little more comfortable, okay? Try to do this one. Anyway, we have to draw this one. Again, I'm very clever, so whenever I discuss that X-ray diffraction, I will come up with a projector. Why would I draw all of those crystal structures, isn't it? Again, not a good diagram. Whatever, look at here. Now you have to take total 4 plus 4, 8 cubes. Am I right? Now look at here. Each, so how many faces? 6 faces. Am I right? Each face will contribute 1/6. So suppose if you take total flux as 5 total, each face of this cube, because this cube is at the center, it's at the symmetric center of that whole big cube. That's why each face will take 5 total divided by 6 flux. Am I right? Now look at here. So this Q is here. Just take these 4 surface. Okay. So now this total surface, it will contribute. So it will take this total surface. This total surface, it will take 5 total by 6 flux. Am I right? Now look at here. This Q is situated at the symmetric. So it is situated symmetrically above this one. If I draw that one again, it will be like this. Is that okay? This is the center and Q is situated somewhere here. Isn't it? I have just drawn this Q and this surface over there. Now look at here. So now this will share 1/6 of the total flux. Now look at here. Since these 4 surfaces, individual surfaces, they are again symmetrically situated. So then if this whole thing shares 1/4, so each of that one shares by 6 by 4. So that when you add that one, you will get 5 total by 6. So totally, each of this one, that means he is asking this part. Do you remember? Don't forget this one. He is asking this part. So that will share 5 total by 6 by 4, 24. So what is pi total? Q enclosed by epsilon naught divided by 24. That's equal to Q by 24 epsilon naught. Any question? Any question? So this will take total flux divided by 6. Again, in that one, each of these squares, they are symmetrically situated. So about that Q, or Q is symmetrically situated exactly at the center. So that's why because of symmetry, each of these should contribute equally, isn't it? Then this should be pi total by 6, pi total by 6 by 4, pi total by 6 by 4, so that into 4, you will get pi total by 6. Isn't it? Each of these will share this much flux, am I right? By 6 by 4. There is no reason why those fluxes are unequal, isn't it? That's the best way to argue. And we use that kind of argument in mathematics, isn't it? Let us assume that it is not true like that. We start with like that. So similarly, there is no reason why they are unequal. That's why they are equal. Again, we know the reason because of the symmetry again. Reason is symmetry again. Now, this is Q by 24 epsilon naught. This is Q by 24 epsilon naught. Wait a second. And let me ask one more question. Think over it again, or just search for NaCl crystal structure and place your Q at exactly center, and then think over it. Q here, okay? He asked what is the flux through this one, am I right? Let me ask one more question here. what is the flux through this surface? What is the flux through this surface? Why? Cos 90. Yeah. So whenever you have a charge on one of the corner of the plane, remember, or on the plane, then electric field from that charge will grazes that plane. It will not puncture that plane. Are you getting my point? You have only one charge, isolated charge, at one of the corner or anywhere on the plane. Electric field from that charge will grazes that plane. It will not go into like this, isn't it? Obviously. So now area vector of the plane is perpendicular to electric field. Are you getting my point? That's why here if you take area vector, your electric field, remember electric field, so in the region of this plane is will be on that plane. Remember, it will grazes that plane. Electric field will be on that plane. Then area vector will be perpendicular to the plane. So dot product is 0. Is that okay? So that's why flux through this one is 0. Flux through any planar surface which contains charge, that is 0. Only one charge. Don't take dipole. If you take dipole, it may go like this. Electric field may go like this. Okay, I'm taking only one charge. So any of this surface or this surface or this surface which contains that charge q, any planar surface in that q which contains that charge q, flux is 0. Why? So on that plane, electric field will grazes that surface. So electric field will be on that surface. Is that okay? And area vector will be perpendicular to the surface, and dot product is 0. Yeah, all the three planes which contains charge q. Point charge. Assumption is point charge. Is that okay? Again, extend that question, okay? Or write down in your book, that's better. Okay? Write down in your book using pencil. Try to answer that one. What is the flux through other part? This one? This one? This one? Exact at this point. Now you to talk about flux, you have to talk about area first, isn't it? So flux is defined like this: E dot dA or E dot A. You have to talk about area. Obviously, you will get some flux if you take a small patch of area. Are you arguing that is maximum like that? No. If you take any area which is held perpendicular to this field line, obviously you will get flux. But look at here, this area, this surface that is held parallel to the field line. Or in a reverse way, field lines are parallel to the surface. Now, yeah, so it does matter how you held that plane. If you take small plane, if you held it like this, if you extend that plane, if that plane contains this q, then obviously those electric fields will be parallel to the plane. Are you getting my point? You are holding the plane here at this point, exactly middle. If you extend that plane, if that plane contains charge q, then electric field from the charge q will grazes that plane, definitely. It will be on that plane. Again flux equal to 0. If you had that one like this, then definitely flux will be there. Is that okay? So again, electric field, whenever electric field grazes the surface, flux equal to 0. Flux means how many field lines puncturing the surface, going into the surface. You have to think like that. And all of these surfaces are very thin, infinitely thin. That's the assumption. Is that okay? Yeah, speak up. It does matter how you held that one, definitely. Is it okay? But here this plane or this plane or this plane, those are in such a way that charge q is on that plane, okay? So that's why electric field from that charge will graze that one. definitely. Now, we got E bar dot dA bar. Actually, I need some more ideas, okay? Q enclosed by epsilon naught, am I right? That was our general Gauss law. Q enclosed means net charge enclosed by this surface. This is the closed surface integral. Now, can I use my Gauss theorem to convert? What is that one? Volume integral. What is that volume? Volume within this surface. Or we have done ulta. We have started with volume integral and we defined the surface which covers that volume. Am I right? So from here to here, what is this volume? Volume inside this surface. Is that okay? Volume integral of del dot E d2 throughout that volume. That volume is the region inside. That volume is the volume which is the region inside this surface, isn't it? So now 1 by epsilon naught. What we write here, enclosed charge. We can write again volume integral of charge density d2. Charge density means charge per unit volume into volume. We are integrating throughout the same volume. Isn't it? Q enclosed. What do you mean by that one? Charge enclosed by the surface, isn't it? That can be done in this way also. Charge density, so throughout the region. Integrate that one throughout the region. Volume integrate that one throughout the region, isn't it? Now these two volumes should be same, isn't it? These two volumes should be same. When those two volumes are same, you can write del dot E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. That is your differential form of Gauss law. Okay. Now try problem number 2.9 in Cartesian coordinate. In spherical polar coordinate, that is still simpler, but try to do in Cartesian coordinate. Now this is one of the way, okay? Now you can start with your, let me do it tomorrow, okay? You can start with your electric field at some point, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Any idea? Rho of r prime, d tau prime. Am I right? I think I have written this one. Just revise. R square into r cap. I can start with that one. I can take divergence of this one. Let me do it tomorrow. And I can show del dot E is equal to again rho by epsilon naught. Is that okay? So actually, we got one problem. Do you remember how to draw the vector field? We better start with this one because Coulomb's law was the first input. Coulomb's law and principle of superposition. Those were, whenever you write integral symbol, how did you write integral symbol? That was our principle of superposition. You have taken individual electric field due to small charges, you added them vectorially. That is written in terms of integral symbol. Is that okay? So Coulomb's law and superposition principle was the basic input, remember. Now I have to actually start with this one in my actual theory. Then I have to show this one. Then I have to show this one. Del dot E is equal to rho by epsilon naught. I have to first show this one. After that, I have to apply Gauss theorem. Then I better to go for integral form. That is the best idea. Is that okay? Then I can draw the vector field. Isn't it? I can draw the vector field. If I start from here again, you can't. It may not be possible to draw the vector field. Okay? Yeah, we shall do it tomorrow. Now again, so along with those questions, just read out each and every sentence in this Gauss law explanation. Okay? Each and every sentence. And tomorrow we shall do application of Gauss law. First we shall do some coordinate geometry, then we shall go for application of Gauss law. 1 second. Yeah, he's asking our earlier problem, if Q is not at the origin or somewhere else, okay? Whatever the problem, if you want to explore Gauss law, your surface or your charge should be situated symmetrically over the surface, or you have to run the surface symmetrically about the charge. Are you getting the sentence? Either you have to run the surface symmetrically about the charge, or charge should be situated symmetrically about the surface, about the total closed surface. Then only Gauss law is useful. Okay. So after a couple of class again, so try to think over it, how we can explore Gauss law. If that surface is very arbitrary, then we can't explore Gauss law, remember. Is that okay? We can't explore Gauss law. Only when that surface is symmetric, when that closed surface is symmetrically situated about that charge, then only we can apply Gauss law. Okay. The same thing will be there. I mean, the same idea will be extended while finding electric field from Gauss law. Isn't it? He says, according to his word, electric field is buried inside the integral. Electric field is buried inside the integral. You have to take it outside. Am I right? How do you take electric field outside what is that one? Surface integral. You have to run the surface in such a way that along the surface, this is when something will come out of the integral, when that is constant throughout the integral. So now you have to run your surface in such a way that throughout the surface, this modulus or mod of this electric field is constant. And again, you have cos theta here, am I right? That cos theta should be also constant. You can't make cos theta constant, you can make cos theta 0 always. Okay, because you are running the surface, am I right? Closed surface. That's why we have to choose this, if we are able to choose the surface so that electric field, mod of electric field is constant throughout the surface. And again, so I better write it like this. I better write it like this. What is this one? Integral of mod dA cos theta. Am I right? Can I write like this? Now look at here. If this again, if this electric field is constant throughout the surface, I can take out of the integral. Again, if cos theta is also constant, I can take out of the integral. And I can just do area integral. That's our total area of the surface. And in that case, that electric field comes out, isn't it? We can use Gauss law to find electric field. That's why Gauss law, Gauss law statement is always true. But it is useful only in some symmetric cases to find the electric field. Is that okay? So the main aim, main application of the Gauss law is to find the electric field actually. Is that okay? But so only symmetry will allow to take that electric field outside. Think over it, okay? So the similar thing, similar idea we followed here, isn't it? We run our surface symmetrically about the charge so that we can find the fraction of the flux. Otherwise it would never possible. Is that okay? So now here again our next extension is, again we have to run our surface, okay? We call it as Gaussian surface, which is symmetrically runs over the, about the charge, so that throughout that surface our electric field is constant. You can take this one outside and using Gauss law, without going into this formula, without going into integration formula, using that Gauss law, we can find the electric field. That's the next idea. Okay, we shall do it tomorrow. Again, read out all those Stokes theorem and Gauss theorem again, okay, and interpretation.